Hey Flosstube, it's Emer here. I am back with another video. Today is the 20th of August, I believe. If it's not, oh well, what is time anyway? Today I have a couple of whips, a couple of pieces of haul, a mostly fully finished object. It's as finished as I am going to get it for now. And I also have some books to talk about. I'm going to leave the books till the very end, so if you're just here for the cross stitch, that's fine. Watch what you want, and then I'll let you know when I'm switching over to books. So first off, we have the Bayern Cash. I've shown this before. I think I mentioned in my last video that I wanted to return to this once I had finished the wedding piece I was working on. And as you can see, I have returned to it. I have gotten the tip of the tail done. I've stitched the face. It comes together really quickly. I kind of worked on this for a couple of nights, maybe to get the face done. And then I switched over to the Baba Yaga piece and I've just kind of stuck with it. So that was a pretty good amount of progress for the small amount of time I stitched on it, I think. And I'm really enjoying it, looking back forward to getting back to it. I like how I can, I'll do the face tonight, or I'll do the yellow on the tail, or you can see I started one of the triangles that will go there. Didn't quite get it finished. I think I just took a notion to switch over to Baba Yaga. Speaking of Baba Yaga, check it out. I have made so much progress. I finally downloaded the Pattern Keeper app, and this is one of the few whips I have at the moment that is actually a PDF pattern. So I put this into Pattern Keeper. I think I am almost 80% done, if not already 80% done. I am loving it. I have bought a frame for it. I don't have it with me at the moment, but it is just a simple black frame. I think it is an 8 by 10 inch frame, or maybe a 10 by 12 inch. I can't quite remember, but it really pops nicely because you have a little bit of the purpley fabric, and then you've got a solid black line, and it just really complements the border around the house, and I love it. Witchy Stitcher, she just has great patterns. Uses a lot of black, but I really enjoy her patterns. It's really striking. And what would one of my Flosstube videos be without the peppermint purple stitch along? Week 33 is now complete, and as you can see, I've had to move my Q snap. Look at it. I mentioned in my last video that I did want to make some progress on the border. Last night I had a video call with some friends, and I spent most of what you see here is what I got done during that video call, and this will be the bottom line of the boxes. And just seeing it, I have a grasp of the scale of the piece now. It's so exciting. I've completely finished up with 4 of the colors: the red, orange, yellow, lime green, which does have a little bit less than some of the other colors, but I'm not going to change it now. And I'm on to that, hopefully you can see it, the lighter green but not quite as yellowed, and then I'll move to a darker green, and then finally my darkest green, and it'll be complete. As for a border around all this, I once again need your advice, Flosstube. I am sure you are not surprised. I feel like every video I make, I'm like, Flosstube, help me decide on something. I know that I want to go with a leaf patterned border. I think I have one saved. I don't remember if it was designed by one of the stitchers or by Peppermint Purple. I don't know, I'll find out. But my question is, should I stitch those leaves in black to match the outline, or should I match the outermost colour? For example, it will be red, orange, yellow, green, and so on. I'm leaning towards the colours and doing that sort of gradient. I think it will complement the colours I've chosen here quite nicely. But then again, black could be quite striking as well. I'm not quite sure what to do, so I would appreciate some advice. I will also stitch 2021 along the top, just to remind myself as though I'll ever forget what year I stitched this in. 2021, the year that, you know, time forgot. There we go. 33 weeks in. I've kept up. I'm doing good. Really, really proud of this one. So that is all for whips. I'm going to show you now my fully finished object. Just let me set these whips aside. And it's a big one. It's a hefty one. It is my wedding stitch. Ah! In case you're wondering why the superhero comic book style stickers are over that, I couldn't find my post-its and I wanted to cover up the names just to respect the privacy of the bride and groom, and that was all I could find. The film is still over this glass, you can probably see the sticker, so you probably can't see the stitching quite as clearly, but I wasn't going to take it out of the frame. Yeah, sorry. But what I really wanted to show you guys was the matting. At the moment it looks a little odd because of all that white space. What's going to go there? Signatures of family, loved ones, friends, and I think it's going to be really sweet. I will be at my parents' house the week of the wedding, like the week leading up to the wedding, to get like tan and go to their house and stuff. So while I'm there, I was chatting with the mother of the bride, and we agreed that if I can get any family members to sign the piece before the wedding, I will. So my own family, my grandmother, hopefully I'll get her to sign it. And it just means that with the restrictions at the reception, at the wedding reception, for example, there's no dancing allowed due to COVID restrictions. You know, it's all table service. You won't even be going up to the bar. It might be a little bit more difficult to get people to sign this, or there'll be a queue to sign it, you know, because people won't be able to crowd around. So the more signatures I can get on this, the better, because it will reduce crowding around it, and it will just ensure that, you know, the family members actually get to sign it. I mean, they can always sign it at a later date or whatever, but, you know, ideally as many people will sign this before it goes off home with the bride and groom. Yeah, I'm so pleased with how this turned out. I'm really pleased it was a custom frame. For anyone in Ireland, I used eframe.ie, and they also did the custom matting. The site was really, really easy to use. I just measured, you know, what the gap I wanted to be. So I told them I want the white board, the white matting, to be this wide, and I want the hole to be of this dimensions. And they showed a little preview in the website, so I was able to see, you know, roughly what it would look like. Yeah, and I'm really pleased with it. It's really just a nice simple frame to complement the simple stitch, and then it's going to have messages from family and friends, which I think is really sweet. I hope they love it. I'm sure they will. I just hope they will. If that makes any sense. I was also at a christening last weekend, which was for my second cousin. Yeah, my cousin's child's second cousin. I think that's how it goes. Or it might be first cousin once removed. I honestly have no idea. But I think I had shown the Hooked on Sunshine Briar Rose Crochet Blanket before. I don't have it with me now, obviously, because I gifted it to the parents. If I can, I will put in a picture. But they loved it. They messaged me to thank me for it, and they've mentioned that it's a display piece now in the baby's room, and I'm really happy to hear that, because obviously, you know, it's a baby blanket. It's meant for the baby to use, but also giving something handmade that took so long to use to a newborn. You know, they get things dirty, so it really feels really good to hear that they're using it as like decoration for now. And I mentioned I got some haul this week. Ideally, I would have had some different haul to show you guys, but there has been a kerfuffle. This post came from the UK, and it was the tracking was sitting with Unpost, which is the Irish postal system, at sorted for over a week. So I messaged them and was like, hey, what's up? You know, when will this move out of sorting? And I was told, oh, no, the customs information was incorrect. It's been sent back. And I contact the seller, and they're very helpful. They're like, look, we can only see on our end what you can see at the moment, which is sorted. As far as they're aware, they filled out the customs information correctly. I'm sure they did. Like, Royal Mail wouldn't have taken it if it wasn't filled out correctly. But if Irish Customs have decided to send it back, there's not really much I can do about that. So I was really, really disappointed. But hopefully it'll all get sorted out. I'll get it eventually, and I'll be able to show you guys and talk about it. But for now, I was on Facebook. I think I have some kind of alert set up in Marketplace to track listings that mention cross stitch, or something like that. And this lady was selling some Mirabilia patterns, and not only Mirabilia patterns, but out of print Mirabilia patterns, and she had quite a few. I did not go for all of them because that would be very expensive, but I ended up springing for three that I thought were really special and that I will someday eventually stitch. Yeah, here they are. This one is the South Seas Mermaid. It says here, she lives in the warm seas of the south and watches over her precious aquatic garden. Her tail shimmers in the reflected light of her coral castles. When she plays in the azure water, you may catch a glimpse of her pearly veil. It's so great. I love the descriptions they give on these. They're real, like, fantastical, and they make me feel like I'm listening to a fairy tale. So nice. Next up is Christmas Elegance. It's just gone to the floor, excuse me. Christmas Elegance. The pattern says this was published in '94. Cool. That does make me wonder if all the thread colours will be the same. I don't know, but she's just so beautiful. I know I want to stitch her on something similar to that fabric, but perhaps more of an indigo, like this rich purple. Just, she looks like royalty. She even reminds me a little bit of the queen from, or the witch from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, with how she's bundled up and it's winter time, and it's very cool. The South Seas Mermaid, I don't see a date on this one. Nope, not that I can see. And finally is Spring Queen. And again, this doesn't have a date, but she does have a little description. Her off-the-shoulder embroidered silk brocade gown is augmented with pink salmon and periwinkle to match her priceless tiara and spray of fairy flowers. Like spring, she came at her own good time, but was well worth the wait. I love it. I love it so much. I might change the colour of her dress. Yellow is my favourite colour, and I might actually just make it a stronger yellow. But that is a really pretty shade of lemon. So I might leave it be. Who knows? But spring is my favourite season. I just love the regrowth, rebirth, flowers. The weather is nice, but not too hot. It's, yeah. She just really spoke to me in a way that the other seasonal queens didn't. So cool. Okay, so that is it on the stitching front. I'm going to talk a little bit about some books. So if you're just here for the stitching, thanks so much for watching. Now, leave me a comment. What are you working on? If you have a Flosstube video you want me to check out, let me know. I'm always looking for more Flosstubers to watch. And onto the books. So in Dublin, there is this giant 2-story bookshop called Chapters, and it has been a very special place for me for years now. Like whenever my mother, my family, I was about to list the individual family members, we would go to Dublin for a day out. We'd go down in the bus and we found this bookshop one day, and I was a bookworm as a kid. I don't read as much. I still really enjoy it. I just don't have the time. But it was like finding fairyland. There were so many books. There was a second-hand section upstairs that took up the entire second floor. It was incredible. I had never seen so many books in one place before. It was just magical. And so that bookshop has always felt really special to me. I always spend way too long in there. I come out with way too many books. It's just a really nice place. Like pre-COVID, they used to have armchairs, so you'd often find people going around with a cup of tea or coffee and just in the armchair with a book browsing, and it's a really nice place. It's always very quiet. It's got that kind of library feel, and just people sort of orbiting the shelves looking for books, and you just know that everyone in there enjoys reading, and it's a nice feeling. So when I went in yesterday, and again, as usual, I spent too long in there. I bought too many books. I got a free mug. Very nice. It's black and it's got red writing. It says I heart books. It's in the sink at the moment, otherwise I'd show you. And I got a couple of Agatha Christie books in the second-hand section. But I want to talk to you about some of the non-fiction books I picked up. Well, the first book I'm about to show you is about mythology. So 3 non-fiction and 1 fiction with some discussion of the fiction. So this first one is Pandoras Jar, Women in the Greek Myths. And it is exactly what it says in the tin. It is Greek myths, either that feature women as sort of main characters. Because a lot of the Greek myths we hear about are about men. Yeah, it tells these stories. And I'm really looking forward to reading it. I'm a big mythology fan, and some of these stories I will know, like the story of like Pandora, Eurydice, Andromeda, but then others I'm like less familiar with, or I'm familiar with the story in which they're a character, but the modern tellings of them, the kind of the abbreviated oral tellings that we learned in school, let's just skip over, for example, Helen of Troy. Oh, she was beautiful, and we'll talk about the horse of Troy now, the Trojan horse. So yeah, it'll be interesting just to see a little bit more depth given to those characters and some more detail compared to what we're used to. Next up was a book that I had a very wholesome encounter to go with. I was looking through the nature section. This bookshop was a really cool nature section. Like it has a lot of like, guide to Irish birds for bird watchers and stuff like that, which is fantastic if you're a bird watcher, like my mother is. But I'm not. But I still do love nature. And so I like learning about the world we live in. And I picked this up, and this lady, I think she was from Germany, and her daughter were in the bookshop. They were looking for books on horses. And she, kind of leans over. It's like, oh, pardon me, sorry, I had earphones in, but like obviously took them out. She's like, this is perhaps the best book I've ever read. She's like, it is my favorite book. And I'm like, book about bees? Cool. I like bees. I've almost definitely shown my bee earring before. I have a bee key ring. So I showed her that. She showed me her bee tattoo with some like cool hexagons in the background. And I bought this book on her recommendation. I was definitely interested in it before, but just having a stranger, kind of see me holding it and feel strongly enough to go, please read that book. Like, you don't get much of a better recommendation than that. This talks about bees, talks about ancient specimens, how bees fly, scent. It just talks about bees, really. It's natural and cultural history of bees. Starts 125 million years ago when a wasp dared to feed pollen to its young. And it goes on to talk about honeybees, bumblebees, diggers, miners, leaf cutters, mason bees. Talks about the mythology of bees. We've had bees for a very long time. We've appreciated them and the work they do for a very long time. And then, of course, they also are at risk, so it talks a little bit about that. I'm just really looking forward to reading this one. And on the topic of bees, I bought a second bee book. Would you believe it? Rooftop Beekeeper, a scrappy guide to urban honeybees. Keeping urban honeybees. I don't necessarily intend to run out and like get a hive and some bees, but I just think it's a really cool book. Like when I was there, I've also very almost bought a book. It was like 51 tips for urban hen keepers, and I almost bought it. I'm like, I don't have chickens. I don't have enough space in our little garden to keep chickens. I would love to keep chickens. I'm probably never going to, but I came so close to buying this book as like a, oh well, I'll read about hen keeping just in case. No. But I did indulge myself on this just because I think bees are really cool. And I love also reading about typically, rural activities like beekeeping or so activities you associate with like agriculture or gardening, farming, nature. I love seeing how they're done in urban spaces because we really need them. We really need the wildflowers and the bees and everything. And these like concrete jungles, anything we can do that brings a little bit of nature into our lives is really good. So I allowed myself to get this despite not having any plans to become a beekeeper on rooftops or otherwise. Yeah, I can't wait. It describes itself as part love song to the amazing honeybee. Sounds sweet, but finally, this book is not about bees, but it does have a beehive on it. It is called Craft. You can probably guess why I picked this up. It is about crafting. How traditional crafts are about more than just making. I picked this up because I enjoy crafting, though, but I also enjoy kind of the historical and cultural impact of it. Like, it's more than just I knitted this baby cardigan or I cross stitched this blackwork sampler. It's often this tradition that's handed down. It's like I don't work with my hands. I work at a computer. I would work in an office were it not for COVID. So having these hobbies and the ability to make something from components is just really special to me, and it's always felt, I don't know, not sacred is the wrong word. Sacred is too strong a word, but it's always felt a little bit like magic, taking something, taking a ball of wool or taking this piece of fabric and some threads and turning it into something else. It's a very special process. And this book explores that. The fact that handmade objects and artisan foods are still so popular. It shows that we appreciate that. We appreciate this like unique aspect. We appreciate it when love has been put into something, when something is of good quality. And although mass-produced items might be cheaper and easier to come by, and that's fine when you want like a chair for your kitchen table, sometimes you want something that was made by one person, and it took time and it took a skill and it took a little bit of love. So I can't wait to read this book. Yeah. I think it's going to be really special. I don't think there are pictures. It would be very cool if there were pictures. There are not. I could look at pictures of crafts online. It's fine. So yeah, those are my book acquisitions. I'm not going to talk about the Agatha Christie books. I bought some Agatha Christie books. They were in the second-hand section. They were cheap. I love Agatha Christie. But yeah, I have the wedding coming up now next Saturday. I can't wait for that. I had the bridesmaid dress fitted. I'm going to assume it still fits. I haven't drastically gained or lost weight since then. It's going to be a lovely day. So if you stuck about this long, thank you for listening to me ramble about my crafting, about my books, about my feelings about bees. Do you like bees? I hope you do. Otherwise, you're probably like, girl, why do you have so many books about bees? I don't know either. Until next time, Hopefully I will have some haul to show you next time about the order that came in from England when it eventually gets past customs. I'll probably talk about a stitch along that I intend to start after I finish the Baba Yaga. So yeah, lots to look forward to in the next episode. But for now, bye!